very good Monday morning to you. Thank you so much for your company. Well, King Charles has led a sombre Remembrance Day ceremony, laying the first wreath in memory of fallen soldiers. Among those watching on was Princess Kate, slowly returning to royal duties after completing her chemotherapy treatment.
Let's go live to Nine's Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey right now. Edward, good morning. World War II veterans attended this emotional event.
Yeah, they did. It is a very important, a very big day over here, and there were lots of senior figures, both senior royals and political figures there at the Remembrance Sunday event held on Whitehall here in the heart of London. King Charles leading the way with laying a wreath at the cenotaph, watched on by a huge crowd. He laid that wreath on behalf of the United Kingdom. Also there was Prince William and Princess Anne and the Princess of Wales, Kate's second event in as many days after she attended a remembrance function last night. She wore 3 poppies as she watched from a balcony. She was joined by the Duchess of Edinburgh. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer was also there, along with 8 former leaders, including Tony Blair and Boris Johnson. As many as 10,000 veterans took part in a parade, and there was a moving 2-minute silence as the Big Ben marked 11 o'clock. A notable absentee was Queen Camilla. The palace said she wouldn't be in attendance. She's still recovering from that chest infection, which has sidelined her for the last week. Remembrance Day, of course, is not about the royals, but they do play a significant role in commemorations. And Alex and Sarah, many pleased to see both the King and the Princess of Wales back on royal duty today.
Well, the royal family is honouring the men and women who've lost their lives serving in conflicts in front of tens of thousands of people today. ITV's royal editor Chris Shipp joins me now. Chris, good to see you. King Charles led 2 minutes of silence there in London.
Yes, you know, and actually there's no more important today in the royal calendar than this one. Remembrance Sunday in the UK is when at 11 o'clock we fall silent as a nation for 2 minutes before the King then leads the nation in paying tribute at the cenotaph there on Whitehall in central London. But of course, today, you know, we got one royal back and one royal missing because whilst the Princess of Wales was there, this is her sort of second appearance in this Remembrance weekend. We didn't have Queen Camilla. She'd ordinarily stand on that balcony next to Kate, but the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, was with Kate instead because Queen Camilla is still suffering from this viral infection.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like the royal family can't get a break when it comes to health matters at the moment, Chris. How is Queen Camilla? I mean, do we know more about it? You mentioned there that she's taking a few days off. How likely are we to see her again in public in the days or weeks to come?
We were advised before the weekend that she would be able to go on Sunday, or at least was trying to go. But then yesterday came the news that actually her doctor said still not well enough. And because it's a viral infection, she, of course, doesn't want to pass on to other people. Now, they didn't say this, but you think of someone like Kate might have a slightly lower immunity at the moment because of the chemotherapy that she's been having. So I think doctors were just erring on the side of caution. And that's why they decided it was probably best that she stay away, because actually it's November in the UK. November to you means warm. November to us means cold and a bit damp. And it's quite a long time to stand on the balcony there.
Well, it's your fault, Chris. You could have stayed here for a bit longer. Maybe we would have had you.
Well, you know, we enjoyed our time with you. It was great seeing you all in person as well. And, yeah, we would have had a much longer tour if we could have done so.
Absolutely. Hey, look, it was really good to see Kate looking well, actually.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, out last night as well. I think the next time we'll probably see Kate now. She records in December this annual Christmas Carol concert at Westminster Abbey, which goes out on ITV on a Christmas Eve. So I think that's probably the next event that we're sure Kate will attend. But of course, everything with her recovery is touch and go, and it will depend very much on how she's progressing and whether her medics give her the go-ahead.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's just nice for the public to see her out there, and we do hope for the Queen's speedy recovery. Chris, thank you so much, as always, for that update.
Great stuff, thanks.
Well, thousands are expected to turn out to memorial services right across the country as Australia takes a moment to remember the men and women who served for our country this Remembrance Day. This morning, we've seen a stunning display of red poppies shining on the sails of the Opera House.
Let's bring in today correspondent Lara Vella in Sydney for us. Good morning to you, Lara. This is a very special day.
Alex and Sarah, very good morning to you. It certainly is, and this has become a bit of an annual tradition here in Sydney. Before dawn, the sails of the Opera House have been lit up with this stunning projection of the poppies you can probably see behind me here to, of course, mark Remembrance Day services right across Australia, including here in Sydney. And this morning, to tell us more about the services here in New South Wales, but also right across the country, I'm joined by the New South Wales President of the RSL, Mick Bainbridge. Mick, a very good morning to you. As a veteran yourself, what does Remembrance Day mean to you?
Look, it's a time to reflect quietly. It's a time to remember veterans from World War I, right through every engagement to today. There's tens of thousands of veterans out there in our community, so it's a fantastic opportunity to take a minute's silence and get out there and remember to remember.
We've seen the beautiful service here in Sydney this morning. If you're watching in other parts of the country, what is your message to Australians to mark Remembrance Day this year?
Look, I know people are busy and they're working. If they can't get to a service in their local community, please just remember to remember. Take a minute, just a quiet minute, and reflect on that service and what people, sacrifice and risk life and limb for our nation.
Mick, thank you very much for your time this morning. So, of course, Alex, this is going to be just one of many services that will be held right across the country, including at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra at 11 o'clock today.
Lara, thank you.
And in the UK, the Princess of Wales is slowly returning to royal duties, attending a sombre remembrance ceremony today.
Live to Nine's Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey in London. Edward, this is Kate's second public event in 2 days.
It is, guys. It's the first time that's happened this year. We know it's been a very challenging year for both her and for King Charles. It was a who's who of senior royal figures and political figures at the Remembrance Sunday commemorations honouring armed forces personnel. King Charles leading the way on Whitehall in the heart of London. Watched on by a huge crowd, he laid a wreath at the cenotaph on behalf of the United Kingdom. Also there, Prince William and Princess Anne and the Princess of Wales, Kate's second event in as many days after she attended a remembrance function last night. She wore 3 poppies. As she watched from a balcony above the ceremony, she was joined by the Duchess of Edinburgh. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer was also there, so too 8 former leaders, including Tony Blair and Boris Johnson. As many as 10,000 veterans took part in a parade, and there was a moving 2-minute silence as Big Ben marked 11 o'clock. Now, a notable absentee was Queen Camilla. The palace said she wouldn't be there. She's still recovering from a chest infection. Remembrance Day, of course, not about the royals, but they do play a significant role in commemorations, and many have been pleased to see the King and both the Princess of Wales back on royal duty.
Edward, thank you.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?